maybe what if bonus or something at some point.
Ah.
But
Okay.
anyway, what was the piece of shit called that we just watched?
I do have to say, as a movie by itself, it's really enjoyable.
Her screaming and getting emotional like that was not the character I know.
James Gunn should have stayed canceled. Let me just tell you that.
I don't know. I want to commit suicide. That's all I know.
Yeah, they might as well be calling us. They might as well be calling me and Chrissy the Suicide Squad after we watch this movie. My God. James Gunn should have stayed canceled. Let me just tell you that. I wish this movie was never made. My God.
I can't ever tell, Matt. I can't ever tell.
I hope he's joking. I really do, but it's funny.
No. I'm exaggerating. I'll say that. But I won't turn heel. I won't turn heel. Okay.
No. It's fine if you do. It's just the way you're so convicted when you talk like that. It's so hard to tell if you're kidding or not.
Yeah.
I was so hopeful that he loved it. Anyway.
Well, I guess we can just jump right into it. We watched Suicide Squad. Yeah. Who wants to go first?
Trey.
Sterling.
No.
Jinx, you owe me a first. No.
Okay.
You go first.
I'll go. Okay. Yeah. Overall, I think this is way better than the original Suicide Squad. But that's not really saying much. But I do have to say, as a movie by itself, it's really enjoyable. Not perfect, not a masterpiece, but there's enough in it to make me actually want to watch it again. And I think there's some really good character work in this movie. The action by far is way better than the original Suicide Squad, and it really was fun to watch at times. I think it's actually pretty funny as well. There's some things that don't land, but when it does land, I actually laughed out loud several times during this movie. So yeah, overall, I had a really good time watching this.
Well, I feel like Matt is gonna explode. So, in a good way. So I want to go real quick. Very disappointed. I cannot wait to get into the details because I did laugh out loud at a lot of points in the movie, but boy, did this movie start off horribly. There you go, Matt.
I think I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna preface this entire review with this because I feel like people will hate me. I'll probably be facetious and I'll probably be hyperbolic and make jokes and stuff. The fact of the matter is, I don't think the movie's horrible. I don't even know if I'd say it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It is just a genuine case for me of it being a movie that's not my cup of tea. I just feel like I'm not the demographic for this movie. So just before anyone shits on me, just know that I'm coming at it with humility in the sense that, like, I recognize that it's maybe just not my type of humor and that, or whatever. But yeah, I overall, I thought it was okay. It mostly kept me entertained through it. I want to get into the details we can get into it based on what Trey just said, the opening. What do you guys think of the opening of the movie? Because I think my opinion may be shocking.
I mean, I was fine with it. It was very quick as far as getting into the characters, and it didn't really develop any of the characters. But I don't think it really needed to, because the initial Suicide Squad was there as a distraction. They were expendable. Now, I will say I did not expect Captain Boomerang to die. Spoiler, but no, I did not expect him to die right off the bat. And so I think overall it got me into the movie as much as it could have, I guess. So yeah, I didn't mind it.
Well, Sterling said that he put the spark in there with what he said. He said character development. They did that in the trailers. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't like watching a lot of trailers, so I only watched like the first two, maybe just the one. And I was hooked because I wanted to see all these new characters and see what James Gunn's brilliant mind can do to them. And I'm sorry, a death is a death, but it has to have purpose. Now, I've been waiting so long to talk about this because I instantly out of theater, I was talking to Amanda, and I'm like, this reminds me of Deadpool 2, but in a bad way.
No, 100%. I agree with you. Yeah.
Those characters died in a hilarious manner, and you did not expect it at all. Like, obviously, you didn't expect it here, but this was so.
I mean,
okay. So this was
sorry.
Okay. But for me, it was so quick and fast with killing. Well, I'm glad with the first death. Let's all agree on that. All right, with that no name little SNL bitch. Anyway, I was anyway. But anyway, they were not done well. I'm sorry. The development was done in all the trailers, all the 20-second shots of trailers here. This character, this big name is doing the no arms, the floaty arm things. All that was done pre-movie, and they just blew it. They could have done it in a hilarious manner. And they could have done it in a hilarious manner. Deadpool did it perfectly. I'm pissed off. So that for me, the rest of the movie was good. Good. Yeah. If they would have done it better in the beginning, the beginning just set me. Put me in the wrong mood.
Here's the thing. Once again, I think that my feeling for this is that all of the 13-year-olds who went to go see this movie thought that the opening was awesome. And I don't mean that. I legitimately don't mean that in a condescending. I don't mean that in a condescending way. I just feel like this movie is definitely geared towards certain demographic. But here's the thing. The thing for me that bothered me about the opening, the two things, and you kind of touched on them already. This is another example of bad marketing where it would have landed and been hilarious if they didn't show Idris Elba. They didn't show any of the actual Suicide Squad. They only showed. Wouldn't it have been fucking hilarious if the ads didn't show any of the actual Suicide Squad? Then I would have laughed my ass off. It would have been like, this is one of the best misdirects. But in the trailer, we have like 20 characters. Did we expect 20 characters to be in the movie? I mean, it was so it's like, okay, we already know that these characters are expendable, and we know who the main team is from the trailers. So I'm like, I don't think, I don't necessarily, I'm not saying that like I predicted that they're all going to instantly get killed at the beginning, but it wasn't shocking to me when it happened. And also when Weasel fell in the water, I was like, it left a bad taste in my mouth for the rest of the movie. And here's why. You mentioned Deadpool 2 in a bad way. That was just a straight ripoff of Deadpool 2. Like, I mean, it was the exact joke. It was the exact joke. It wasn't a different joke at all. And
they didn't set it up. There was no setup.
Right. Yeah. It was a less impactful version, but it's like, let's do, and my problem was this, you guys know, controversial opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the Deadpool movies. I
didn't know that. What?
I think.
Wow.
Well, it's the same case as this. I'm not the demographic. I don't really find that type. I don't get the humor or something. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't land very well with me. I think that Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 are good movies, but this self-aware kind of superhero thing, to me, has run its course. If this Suicide Squad movie should have came out in 2015, not 2021, all of the jokes and like. Anyway, I'm turning heel. Let me get it back in. Let me zin out. I'm turning heel. I love the movie. It was really good. James Gunn, a great director.
Keep your thoughts, because I want to add the two things that another comparison with Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn films. I don't like the deaths. Like, okay, but they were emotional. With Yondu, the guy, obviously, I don't know, the Rooker, the actor that dies in the beginning of this movie.
Great actor.
Great actor, but it was kind of weird. Him, weird, and then the hex, a little funny.
Kind of funny.
So that was, I was expecting him to be in a lot of the movie because it's a James Gunn friend and yada yada yada. So that was disappointing. That was the biggest disappointment to me. And then the funny part, there was one funny death, was the spear guy, with her taking the spear.
I love that comedian. She's listening. By the way. That German comedian. Yeah.
Yeah. she slaps him. That was the funniest part of the whole beginning, and almost brought me back, but it wasn't enough.
I thought the funniest part to me, Yeah, who am I kidding? I love this movie. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but the arms guy, when they were shooting the arms and his body was reacting, that was pretty funny.
That was funny. And here's the thing about this movie. There is several times where there's almost two different emotions kind of conflicting. Like, for example, in the beginning of this movie, there's like emotional music being played as everyone is dying, but the way everyone is dying is pretty comedic.
Yeah.
The way they react. And we'll go more into it, but there's more scenes kind of like that where you're kind of feeling kind of you have like this weird feeling as you're watching horrible things happen, and I did laugh at the weasel part. I'll just say that I did laugh.
I did.
It was funny. No, it was funny. Yeah, it was funny, but
not hard, but a little chuckle.
Yeah. That thing was weird. That thing was so weird. The way they made it look, it was like so odd. It was so off-putting that it was a funny character.
Sean Gunn. That's how he was. That's totally Sean Gunn. I love it.
Here's the reason why I kind of enjoyed the beginning overall is because, again, the action already to me was a lot better than the other Suicide Squad movie. Like, I love the aesthetic of them storming the beach against this military. I already love the fact that they're fighting a real human military. As opposed to what they fought in the last movie,
what did they
which
even
was
fight? I don't remember.
It was just cannon fodder, basically. It was like humans, but they were turned into like
they
these
had black
rocky-looking creatures.
Yeah, I kind of remember.
Yeah, so you weren't seeing like any blood. It was just like rocks disintegrating, basically. So
I'll tell you this: you will not get any arguments out of me. Hands down, the best aspect of the movie to me was the action. The action was cool. And I'm talking specifically the choreography and the blood and gore was really cool. We can get into it later. It started turning into the Fast and the Furious movie, but no, I mean there's literally a scene where two characters shoot guns at each other and the bullets hit each other. I used to do that with action figures when I was 5. So I mean that's a Fast and the Furious moment.
They talk. Oh, okay. I don't. Okay.
But I'd also. Sorry.
It was a joke. It was a joke they completed from earlier in the film, because the other guy was supposed to have a smaller bullet, and
yeah.
Right? Is that what you're talking about? With
yeah.
Idris Elba?
It's a show off thing. I get the callback, but I'm just saying that that's the thing. I think kind of on what Sterling was saying about it being like, it's like this movie is a comedy flat out. It's nothing else to me. It's just a comedy, and I think like maybe an action comedy, but I'm just wondering what you guys think. Like, did any of the moments that were supposed to be dramatic hit to you? Like the girl's story with the dad, because to me it was so comedy that I'm like, how am I supposed to take this seriously? Especially because the precedent the movie set was when the girl was telling the story about my dad Taika Waititi taught me how to control the rats, and I was like, I was just waiting for a joke to be anticlimactic. Because this is my, I'll just get it out now so we can, because there's plenty of things I like about the movie, but I'll get it out now because this was my frustration with the whole movie. The movie was predictably unpredictable. And what I mean is they set a precedent where whatever the anticlimax of any scene is, that's what they're going to do. And so I got up at one point because I got kind of bored whenever Harley Quinn was talking to the Mexican guy. And I went up to make popcorn, and you just hear the gunshot. And Christy goes, she shot him. And I was like, I was not surprised at all. It was so expected because it was unexpected. That was what that's the thing about the movie was it felt like a series of like, hey, why don't we brainstorm what's every dramatic action scene, saving someone scene, team up movie thing, and let's just do whatever the funny anticlimax is of every single one of those scenes.
Yeah.
There's no payoff. You know what I mean? And then sorry. So to me, that was the bulk of the humor was just, here's a dramatic someone's dying, okay? And then it's like, record scratch, Harley Quinn is going to take the trident and do a funny voice. And then it's like, the whole movie kept being like, whatever different scenes, like we're gonna team up, it's really dramatic, and then record scratch, the thing you don't expect happens. Hey, we're gonna take down a whole village, and it's like record scratch. What? Those were the good guys? It's like every scene
dude, that was a
like
great
an
scene.
anticlimax.
Sterling, you want to go first, or me?
I talked before you did, so go.
Oh, it's fine. Whatever. You're gonna have a good point too, because we'll tag team them. My God, was that such a? I'm sorry, Matt. That was them showing off their skills and killing people.
Yeah, it was cool.
Which isn't really fun. Not funny, but there's some funny kills. Not a lot of them, but they get through all that, and they go and they're trying to rescue the guy, and they're like, oh yeah, so they're helping me. How'd you get past my scene? I'm sorry, that was brilliant.
Sterling, but I'm not
over.
But just to be clear, though, I think you're missing my point. I'm not saying it's not brilliant or cool or fun. I'm saying that I'm talking about the movie was just a series of anticlimaxes, right? That was an anticlimax joke. You can love the joke, but it's still, that's my point, is that it's an anticlimax joke, and that's what every single scene in the movie was anticlimax. That was all the jokes in the movie.
Was Harley Quinn killing the guy an anticlimax joke?
Yeah, you're not supposed to expect it.
Well,
I disagree about the other scene then.
Well, yeah, as far as the Harley Quinn sequence where she kills the guy, that is correct. It was definitely kind of anticlimactic.
I'm not criticizing whether it's entertaining or not. I'm just saying that there was a formula to the movie.
I understand that. No, but yeah, and I think that may be a difference between you and me a little bit, because I don't know. I see what you're saying, and I kind of can see now, maybe watching the movie again, I would pick up more on that formula. But my initial viewing, I don't know. I just didn't pick up on the whole formula as much, I guess. I just kind of let myself get enwrapped in most of the movie. But, I mean, there are definitely some things that I think they could have paid off a little bit better. I think some of the more emotional parts with Ratcatcher 2 and her talking about her dad, I wouldn't go as far as saying, "Oh, that was so emotionally satisfying." No, I'm not going to go that far. But I think it was nice. I think it was a nice little addition, and I think a lot of that has to do with how good of an actor she was in this movie, and I really think she did a good job. And I think Idris Elba is a really good actor too, and I think they played off each other very well. And I also like how they did the flashback, kind of in the reflection of the car window. I don't know. There was a lot of editing in this movie that I thought was very creative. Maybe not successful every time, but I really did like the title cards, during the transitions of the movies for the most part.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty creative.
Weird. Like, I actually agree with you that it was creative. I thought at first I was a little confused, and then when it was more repetitive, I was like, okay, like I'm glad they didn't just do it once or twice, because it would have been weird. I think this is just to go into like part off of what you said, like the editing and stuff is so creative. The thing that I liked about the movie a lot, and I don't know exactly what the production was like on the movie, it really felt like they just let James Gunn do whatever he wanted. And that was probably the coolest thing about it. So it was a little hit and miss. Like, sometimes something weird and bizarre ended up being really cool. And then there were times where something weird and bizarre, you're a little bit like, that was kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of scenes where it was like, that was like odd, or like, not in like a fun, there was times where it was supposed to be funny odd. There was just times where it was like, was that scene needed to be in there? Was that weird? But then there, just as many times as that happened, there was like stuff that I wouldn't expect them to let him do, or stuff that they would have tried to edit. I thought the whole it was probably unnecessary and weird, the fact that the German guy like was like torturing the people in there and experimenting on them, and like it kind of got like, it felt really dark, like something from Saw. And I was like that's really cool. I was like, that's really cool. And like, I feel like if a bunch of people were giving notes and he had to like be really strict on what type of movie he was making, he wouldn't have done a scene like that, you know? And so there was just stuff where I really felt like James Gunn just got high with his friends and were just like fucking around and writing a movie. That's really and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like, it really just feels like, you know, like it reminds me of like me and Evan and Caleb back in the day, just sitting around like, what's the most insane shit we can put in a movie? And so that's why I think,
look at him today.
What?
Look at him. His hair's all white. He was doing some crazy shit for his hair to turn all white.
Oh,
like that.
I haven't seen a picture of him. Did it just go white?
It's everything white. I'm like, was he coloring his hair before or after? I can't tell.
It seems like that happened a lot during the pandemic. A lot of actors were like, crap, I can't go and get my hair professionally dyed. So now all of a sudden I have white hair.
That's probably not wrong. Yeah.
Let me finish up with what Sterling said, and it goes to what Matt was saying when the little bus scene with Idris Elba and the rat lady. I'm sorry, whoever the actress is. What Matt's saying is there was no payoff, and that's like I was saying about showing all these characters you want to see throughout the movie, and sure they're expendable. But I want to see them die in funny ways. The trailer showed that scene to be emotional. But most of the emotion was put in the trailer. Like, I'm going to save you. And I know I'm going to save you. You know, with tears in her eye. Like, and there was no payoff at the end. Yes, the editing was cool which I didn't know Taika Waititi until they saw him in the very end.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him in the little bus window. Yeah.
So now that I'm agreeing with Sterling, he's going to argue with me. Go ahead, Sterling.
No. Here's the thing. You don't have to like the payoff. I just don't agree that there was no payoff. I think there was payoff as far as
payoff. You saw some drug overdose Taika Waititi?
No, what I'm saying is that she saved Bloodsport with the rats, and he had a fear of rats through the whole movie. And by the end, he becomes friends with her rat that she has. So that is technically a payoff. I'm just saying you don't have to like it. I'm just saying.
There was no payoff in that scene. In the story, period. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway. You're talking about two different things. You're talking about two different things, my friend. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying.
We agree to disagree.
Woo!
What do you got to say, Matt?
The heat is flying.
That's on my side. No payoff.
Well, it's hard for me to... I think a part of for me, it was just more like... how are you going? You set this movie out where any possible thing you cut the feet out under for the sake of a joke. Fine. I love that. But don't pretend like now at the end you're going to be dramatic and like someone's going to have a backstory, because everything feels like a joke. So now when she's talking about her heroin, dad or whatever, they slept with rats or whatever, it's like, I'm like waiting for a joke. I'm like, this seems funny. And that's the risk that you do when everything that happens in the movie is, you're just gonna, it turns into a joke. And it's like, I think it's fine, but yeah, nothing in the movie hit me dramatically, or touched me really.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'm kind of in between you guys a little bit. Ugh, nostalgia, don't kill me.
Okay,
but I was just gonna say, Sterling.
Okay, yeah.
It didn't affect me, right? And I can say why, but I think that it's like, hey, they had these little setups of like, here's my backstory. Here's my backstory too. My dad, made me have sex with rats or whatever it was, and then then later in the movie there's a payoff where it's like, I'm gonna save you with the rats, and she saved him, he saved her, and then she has. Yeah. I tried to help you, Sterling. I don't get what the payoff is here. What was the payoff? Okay. She saved him.
Yeah.
Well, saved him, but he overcame. He's starting to overcome the fear of rats.
Okay. Yeah, it's there.
Come on.
By the way,
he was barely touching it.
He pets the rat. Come on.
He was still scared. He was still scared like a little girl.
All I'm trying to argue is that there is a technical payoff as far as there's a resolution.
I think what we're saying is it didn't emotionally affect us, but he's saying there was a payoff. It just didn't affect us.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's saying it. He's saying it was at the end. I was just talking about that scene specifically.
I see. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It affected me mildly, I would say, as far as emotions. Like it was nice. It was not, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I will say this: your point about, well, most everything is undercut by a joke, and then they try to be dramatic. Well, now I can't take it as serious. I totally understand that. However, I feel like you can make that criticism for most comedies, to be honest, because like most comedies try to have some kind of dramatic element to it.
Well, and there's dramatic movies I think that are funny, but I think that as far as like, I guess what I mean is when Ricky Bobby thinks he loses his legs in Talladega Nights, they're Adam McKay and Will Ferrell aren't trying to convince you to actually feel some emotion. You're supposed to laugh the whole time. That's my point. So it's like, and look, maybe this movie wasn't trying to, but I felt like it was trying to, and I don't know.
I mean that's very true, but like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, comic book movies, there's no matter how funny they try to be, there's always going to be that little dramatic element to it. So, But anyway, we'll digress. We can move on to a different subject.
Let's talk about some characters because there's three characters. King Shark, Flag, and Polka Dot Man. Now, I'm gonna start with the Flag and Polka Dot Man, and this goes with the beginning where I have issues about non-funny deaths. 9 out of 10 of them at least. Polka Dot Man, that was funny death because I liked what he said, and then obviously he's trying to kill his mom, whatever. And that joke got old. But him saying I'm a superhero and then an unexpected death, and maybe Matt didn't like that. I like that. Flag, I wanted to see more Flag in the future movies. Yeah. I did not like that. I did not like that death at all. I'm not sure. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because
I'm gonna say something shocking, but first let me say. Well, first let me say this. This isn't shocking. I agree with you about Flag. He to me is the character that grounds you a little bit. Now, maybe Idris Elba is supposed to be that new character because he's like the one that's not goofy. But Flag was the one who's like the straight man. I liked him. Yeah, I would have liked him to live.
I was sad. I was a little bit sad.
But maybe that's why it was impactful, because that was a more impactful death. By the way, was it kind of weird, the Mortal Kombat X-Ray? I thought it was cool, but that was a little odd. That's what. By the way, this is what I mean by the pure. This is what I mean by the creativity being so crazy in this movie to where it's like kind of odd sometimes. When he stabs him, the only time in the movie that it did this, it just randomly shows like a Mortal Kombat style X-ray of like inside and it stabbing the heart, which was so weird. Yep. But I don't know if I loved it or hated it, but it was weird, and I'm glad it happened.
See, the death itself, it made me more shocked than I thought I'd be. And it also made me realize, I kind of had an attachment to this character, which I didn't think I had in the first movie. But it just kind of, I don't know, it had an impact to it, and so I respect deaths that can at least have some kind of impact like that. So I didn't mind it too much.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just to say the shocking thing, until you just said it, I guess I didn't realize Polka Dot Man died. I don't know what happened. I don't remember him dying.
Polka Dot Man was so overpowered because he could have been shooting that crap and disintegrating.
Right, I remember that. Beginning. I didn't get why he didn't.
That's why they killed him. I think
had its eye. He shot at its leg for some reason.
So when they finally get out there and he takes a leg out, they I think be like, well, obviously his powers could take it out.
Was it kind of quick? Did it go quick?
It's quick.
Okay,
because he does it.
I didn't get up or anything. Like, I just don't remember. I must have looked away for a second.
He took out the leg. Yeah. And he's like, I'm a superhero. And then boom. And it kills him.
Yeah, he was a funny character.
And Idris Elba was just sitting there like, whatever.
Okay. I have to say this. Now, Trey and Matt both know that I've been probably one of the biggest John Cena haters.
No.
And
don't do it.
Now this hatred goes back to his wrestling days, where I think he's totally overrated. And the great words of CM Punk, he's not great at wrestling, but there is one thing he's better at than everyone else, and that's kissing Vince McMahon's ass. Anyway,
So now he kissed your ass. I'm about to be so
Yeah.
pissed at what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
No way.
but even though there were some things that didn't work for me as far as some of the jokes that he said, for the most part, I thought he was a very entertaining character. I enjoyed his performance overall, and I actually think the more dramatic side of him, whenever he kind of turned on the team, I thought that was actually some pretty decent acting on John Cena's part. So I got to give him his props. You know, he's getting better. He's getting better. So
I think he's as good of an actor as he's ever been, which isn't great. And the character works for him because he can be that goofy character. So then it's like,
Yes,
you know what I
true.
mean? How would you
Actually-
act that character better? He's supposed to be very like, I blah 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 blah. You know, and it's like, okay, John Cena can do that.
yeah.
I don't know. I think he should apologize to China for that performance. I'm joking.
Here's the thing. What I liked about his character was like, you know, he's obviously like, he thinks he's so good, like he is a good guy. But there's such underlying darkness within a lot of what he says.
Yeah.
Especially, and there was a line in the trailer, but when he said, "I don't care what I have to do, kill as many women, children."
That was hilarious. That was actually a funny line. That was a good line.
That was in the trailers, and it worked in the movie. It was funny, and
the only problem was they had the follow-up joke that was also in the trailer. Like almost that whole almost that whole little scene was in the trailer. It was weird. Like I realized it was like a good. Usually you just see little bits, but it was the part where they say that he goes, "I'll kill however many children I want," and then right after that, the girl goes, "I thought you were the crazy one," and Polka Dot Man is just like staring off into nothingness, and he goes, "I am." Yeah. It was weird because you don't usually see such a long like stretch in a trailer that's in the movie exactly the same.
And then there was that one scene where they're trying to, you know, rescue Harley, and he has his sniper rifle or like his pistol, and he's like, "I got one person over here," you know, and he's just pointing the gun at the secretary who's like completely innocent and not doing anything, and he's ready to just blast her head. I thought that was funny too.
And you know what? Sterling, I've talked to you about this many times. About how I love when people complain about fake deaths. I was actually genuinely upset that it was going to be a prequel series with the Peacemaker. I don't know. I don't like how they did it because they insinuated he was, you know, obviously fake death. But I'm glad it's going to show him. Maybe I thought he was going to turn like full good guy when he killed the guy and he was going to have a regret. They're showing regret, which he did really well, and he sees her and then he turns back. So I hope in the show. Too. Yeah, so I was hoping, but hopefully this, yes, and it's already shot, and I hope that they go more into that where he does maybe change, you know,
is it after?
Change his philosophy. It's after because you didn't see the post credit scenes probably. There's two.
I didn't see the post credits because I was trying to get in here. I saw the one.
So at the very, very end, they show him alive. They went in there. I can't believe he was alive.
I knew there was going to be something. You know? I just didn't. I thought it would be something kind of funny. I didn't know it was going to be like. I guess I should. I guess the Weasel one came first, but.
He's alive. Yeah, I love that. I was like, yes, I knew he wasn't dead. That son of a gun.
He's back.
He's killed 26 children. He's the kill more children. He's gonna find them.
I want to mention something that was actually my favorite part of the movie, but to kind of balance it out, I think probably the thing that didn't work for me the most, it's probably some of the weird editing choices. Again, I made the comment that I love the creativity overall, but there were a couple times where some of the title cards were very weird. Because it's like, it's so meta, you know what I mean? It's like, wait, is this happening in that world? Like, is that fire really making that shape?
Yeah.
Is that blood? Is that blood really saying Warner Brothers Presents in that actual world?
I didn't like it. I should have said it earlier. I did not like that any of it.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't really care too much for those transitions just because I thought it was unnecessary. It didn't feel like they needed to do it
Yes.
at all, and that was what I didn't get. Like probably the first one was when the Leafs rolled together and said now. I'm like, we know it's now.
That was weird.
What do you think? And I think the weird thing was it was like comic book slang, like meanwhile Harley Quinn, and it's like.
Yeah.
I guess either just do it comic book style or don't, because it was a little weird. But I appreciate that he was trying something new, and it looked cool. It just was a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably my least favorite part. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, it was kind of weird having Starfish as the main villain.
Yeah.
You know, like a kaiju. It's a fucking kaiju.
Yeah.
Like. Which that guy, by the way, I actually like that actor. He was in Superstore, and
he looked really familiar.
And New Girl.
Okay. Me and Christy,
Superstore.
Me and Christy both thought we recognized them, but I didn't know from what.
Yeah,
I told you to watch Superstore, but anyway.
I know. You gotta...
It's good. It's really good. It's so relatable. But anyway, moving on. My favorite part overall, in my opinion, was definitely the escape scene with Harley Quinn. I thought the action in that scene was so good.
Yeah.
And I really liked how it showed how psychotic she is through the fact that all the blood she saw was like flowers and like birds and like, I don't know. To me, that encapsulates Harley Quinn. And I thought that was conveyed very well. And I actually think overall she was used pretty well in the movie. I think this representation was better than in Birds of Prey. And I didn't mind Birds of Prey too much, but I think James Gunn used her very, very well.
Yeah.
And but that action scene, her escaping, there was just some gnarly kills in that scene that were so good. And then it was funny when she got there and they were trying to rescue her. It's like, I don't need to be rescued. It's like,
I love the beginning when the first half of it, but when the flowers and birds happened, I was out. Sorry, that was one. I get it. I get you liked it, but it's just like what Matt's saying about not liking the words, the now and the Harley Quinn's escape, whatever they did. It was just like that for me. Where like it's unnecessary. Yeah, I didn't feel like So I'm glad you liked it. I wish Matt liked the movie overall more than me because I obviously have a lot more dislikes and likes. But
I think the flowers and stuff were fine. They still had blood, which was good. They didn't animate over the blood, which I was good. I would have been more annoyed if it covered too much of the screen. It was more like background and then like as if it was coming out when they got hit. That would have bothered me, but it's like either here or there. It could be there or not. I didn't care too much. And I think it was creative, but yeah, I agree. That's one of the things that the trailer didn't ruin some. It's like it's sort of like what you said with that joke where it's like, oh, the joke worked in the movie. It's like, oh, here's a really cool scene we see in the trailer, part of it in the trailer. I just expected to be disappointed, and it ended up being like pleasantly surprised by like how in depth and long the escape was. And there was just that. Like I said, it's like the action in this movie. There's some really cool just choreography, like almost John Wick style, a little more cartoonish. It wasn't as realistic maybe, but like. But that is fine for the tone of the movie. And so, but yeah, I thought it was, at first I was a little annoyed at the very beginning. I was like, is this going to be like really heavy CGI gore? Cause we talked about this in the Nobody review that like the blood, they've been getting pretty good at CGI blood and stuff. There was a good period where it was horrible, but there was actually practical effects several times in this movie that were good. And then there was times where I couldn't tell if it was CGI or not. Like you can tell when it was definitely CGI, but there were times where like there was a part where a bird was like eating off of this guy's face. And I know that the bird and the stuff he was eating must have been CGI, but the face just looks so the effects. And then there's the part where, Polka Dot Man had his face got like distorted the first time, and I guess anytime after that, it was like it looked like really cool like practical effects, like I had to hand it to him for that. Well,
King Shark I thought looked good too, like I think a lot of that has to do with the lighting. You know what I mean? The lighting
Yeah.
on his skin, like it just made it. It didn't make it so noticeable because obviously he's fully CGI,
Yeah.
and that could be a risk. But overall, they did a great job. And Sylvester Stallone voiced him. I didn't know that until after watching the movie. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Well, I knew that. Yeah. Well, that was the third character I was going to talk about, and let's give some props to Sylvester Stallone stealing the show. I mean, come on, like that guy.
Yeah, I like King Shark a
He can
lot.
voice a shark.
Yeah, that was a cool character.
You know how we were talking about like the funny deaths or with I guess any character dying. I thought he died twice. when the first time with the building or whatever,
Yeah.
and then
When the fish
the second. I'm like, okay, in the field, yeah. So that was funny. He's like my friends. That was really funny.
I thought he was dead because it's the first time we saw him bleed.
Oh yeah.
And then
when he was getting shot and there was no blood.
Yeah, they would just bounce off of him. I was like, and then when the fish were, I don't know if it was, but you just didn't see anything. It looked like it was just bouncing off. But like when those fish started eating him and the water was there, there was a certain point where it was a lot of blood and the water just turned into blood.
Yeah.
I thought he was dead. I thought they demolished him.
Yeah, he was definitely. Go ahead.
No, when he got slammed by the kaiju, when he got slammed in the building, I'm like, oh, he's dead. Like there was twice. I was like, he's dead. Okay, cool. Good shark. Yay. Yeah. Good job. You did your job.
Yeah, he was definitely, in my opinion, he was kind of the replacement for Killer Croc from the other movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And even though Killer Croc kind of looked cool, you couldn't really understand him, and he was speaking English. But in this movie, it was funny because he was trying to learn English. So it's like you understand why you can't really understand King Shark as much. There was a purpose to it.
Yeah.
So.
What a wacky character.
Yeah, because when I first showed him with the book, I thought he was gonna be like really smart or something. Like, oh, they didn't show us that in the trailer. Like he was gonna be like have a British voice or something.
Another one where it's a trailer. Hey, I laughed. I chuckled. I don't like, but it still was funny in the movie.
Oh, I think the best character overall for both movies, and she wasn't in as much as the other one,
Wallace.
But Viola Davis as Amanda Wallace is my God. She's perfect. She's so good.
She was in it a lot.
I think the hardest I laughed in the movie was, or one of the times I laughed was when they start walking the other way, which I have a nitpick about, by the way. But when they start walking the other way and she just starts going like, she finally loses it. She's usually so calm and measured, and she just starts going, "You dumb pieces of shit, motherfuckers!" And I was like that. I don't know why, but it made me laugh really hard. Her just yelling at them.
Yeah.
But.
So Sterling will know what I'm talking about. I do have, I guess if you want to call this a nitpick, but I guess it's an overall nitpick for this character. But I'm not sure. I would have to go back and watch the Suicide Squad, which I actually like the first 90% of that movie a lot, actually. What's the character's name that she plays?
Amanda Wallace.
Yeah. Sterling will know what I'm talking. Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He'll know what I'm talking about with the Justice League and the cartoon shows. They did 4 seasons, and I thought you said you watched it on HBO Max, but maybe you didn't. I think we've talked about it several times. But he looks like he's a deer in headlights over there, or whatever. Yeah. He's not saying. I think he's frozen.
Saying anything. Yeah, I guess.
Guys, I'm saying this is ridiculous. Sterling.
Wait, I mean, what do you? No, I haven't watched it recently.
You know what I'm talking about and have seen it, right?
Yeah, the original Justice League show. Yeah.
Yeah, the cartoon show. Oh God, that took way too long, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize.
Okay, I thought you were talking to Matt. I'm sorry.
Oh, that explains it.
Anyway,
I was like, man, you're really hanging in there, Trey, because you just like kept going like, I think Sterling saw the show I'm talking about, huh? And then he just didn't say anything. You're like, at any time now he'll tell us about the show that we both watched, right? And he just kind of kept standing there smiling.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That makes more sense.
I'll just get to the point.
Yeah.
Let's get to the point. That character by Viola Davis. Amanda Waller. in the cartoon show. I'm sorry. Maybe I need to go back and rewatch. Maybe some people in the comments can correct me. But in the cartoon show, which anyway, she was way more calm and way more villainous and nasty in the cartoon show, which is weird for being a cartoon show. In the cartoon show, she went out and played little bitty games, threatening a daughter to get what she wanted. She plays the bigger game. I guess in the show she was working with the Justice League, but anyway, her screaming and getting emotional like that was not the character I know. And I thought I was like way too over the top for that character. She gets what she wants and she knows how to get it without resorting to whatever she was trying to do. And her getting hit in the head was hilarious, but in the cartoon show, they would have been disintegrated before she got hit. But anyway, and this was rated R.
Okay.
So I was really disappointed in that character being so off base compared to what she was before.
I didn't know she was in the new.
I don't remember at all in the Justice League show, so I have no attachment.
Well, we talked about it like 6 months ago. You were watching it, but whatever.
This guy.
You're talking about watching all the cartoons. Oh, Trey, all these cartoons on there. I've been starting to watch the Justice League again. Oh, great, man! I remember that show.
I never said that. Never said that.
Well,
look it up on Snopes.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was more villainous, and she would have gotten what she wanted without resorting to threatening a kid.
What did you think of the team? The team knocking her out and helping out. I thought that was cool.
I loved it. Yeah.
I like that they started actually help because I honestly didn't know. I was like, my brain was racking, like just going like, she's got her finger on the buttons. Like how are they gonna keep fighting? And I just did not expect the people in the office to just knock her out. Like that was a good one. May I say my nitpick? Because you guys are gonna laugh. It has nothing to do. It's not a critique of the movie. This is what I love about the nitpick. This is just a classic. This is movie stuff here. This is a classic. Why? So Idris Elba or Bloodsport doesn't say, which we should talk about. He's a badass character in his guns and shit. Very cool. I loved his outfit and everything. He was definitely like the coolest like looking character probably, but. Idris Elba, whenever he decides, I gotta, I should go I gotta save the day or whatever, he turns around. He doesn't say anything, and no one else says anything. He just starts walking the other way. He gets about 5 feet, and all of a sudden, the alarms are going off. He's turning again. He's going the other way. He's turning on. She flips the switch. I'm like, what if he was pacing angrily, or what if you can't even face the other direction of the fucking compass without this thing going off? It was just, like I said, it's a nitpick, but I was like, they barely walked 10 feet the other way. Don't they have to be like, fuck you, I'm going to go kill the starfish? You know what I mean? No one said anything. I was like, why is this alarm going off? They can't walk back the other way 5 feet? Anyway, that's my nitpick.
That is funny.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
That's funny. I love that nitpick.
I had 2 other movie nitpicks, and maybe you guys can answer me on these. Once again, they're just funny. They're not real criticisms, but why was there a giant American flag? Like at the beginning, it was like they all just this is a classic movie cliche, but the Suicide Squad that actually got killed, they for some reason are all just hanging out in front of this giant American flag, like just perfectly for this shot where they walk in slow motion all together.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? I don't know what that flag is, but that's more you can forgive that one more. Did I miss something, or why did they have to drop them off of the water? What? Like I didn't get that. They all just jumped in the water. Like forget about Weasel's death and all of that. Just like the helicopter just drops them there, like just in the. They got to swim out of the water to fight these guys. I mean, at least at Normandy they were in boats. I mean, this was crazy.
I mean, here's the thing.
I didn't think of that.
That is a good one, but I did notice something. As soon as everyone was dying from that initial team, you see Amanda Waller just kind of smile, and to me that implies
It
that
was intentional.
she did everything to kill off that team.
Yeah.
And I think she did that because I had some of the original members on it, and from the original movie, they kind of turned their backs on her, if I remember correctly, and so I think she's getting revenge. That's why she intentionally put them in that situation.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
could buy it.
so,
I could buy
yeah,
that.
she knew the weasel couldn't swim. That's what I'm saying.
No, they portrayed her for like you didn't know yet. There's
I'm
only one
kidding.
that died, other than Flag later. But
What is they all?
Boomerang's the only one from the original team that died on the beach.
But she was trying to kill Harley Quinn
Oh, you
too.
think so?
So,
Okay.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. She survived
Well, she
somehow.
failed.
She's kind of got a superpower, which is for some reason she's just lucky. Like she kind of survives.
Yeah.
She got the ace up her sleeve. Or the Joker on her side.
Oh.
Not anymore. She's
Oh,
single.
it's still there. He loves her. They're crazy for each other.
Crazy.
He loves Batman. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
That's his real love.
All right. Let's finish this off.
Let's
and
wrap it
call
up
it
and finish
call it
me
a day.
off. And
Tip me off.
I'll go first so that I can. Is that all right? Since I
Yeah.
had the worst
Oh
opinion.
no! 1 second. Hold
Damn
up!
it.
Hold the horses. Hold the horses. Sterling, you're going to agree with me on this one. Well, it's not really a thing I'm going to say. I'm just going to man. Does your smarter half have any smart thoughts to say about this movie that you want to steal and take credit for?
The only reason I couldn't plagiarize her comments was that she was really tired and she fell asleep a couple times in the movie. And in fact, she fell asleep right before the Harley Quinn escape scene, and she literally woke up as Harley Quinn exited the building and the fight ended. And I didn't realize it until she woke up, and I was like, "You just missed a pretty cool scene, actually." But I think you guys would be disappointed to hear that. Well, I won't speak for her, but I think she was asleep. I would say that it seemed like she was on a similar page with me, that like maybe this just wasn't her kind of movie. But but it was hard to tell because she was really tired when we started it. So I don't want to speak for her.
Okay.
You know, because I think yeah. But anyway, I was gonna say this before we do the final thoughts, because I want to know what you guys genuinely think. There was a stretch in the movie that I thought was legitimately a little boring, and it was around the time when they had to switch to normal clothes and they go into the bar, and maybe a little bit before that. I know there were some jokes here. Oh, and then Harley Quinn's whole thing with the guy, the president, or whatever. From the time she was doing all the stuff with the president and they were doing all the stuff like we're in the bus and then we go to the bar, I felt like I even said to Christy, I was like, I feel like a half hour just went by and literally nothing happened. I was like, I don't know what. And now I get that part of that was there was probably a lot of funny stuff that like just wasn't landing necessarily for me. But I do think that, I mean, I don't want to say the movie's too long overall, but I would say like maybe you could have trimmed like 10 minutes off of this. There was a middle part of the movie that was a little slow for me.
I totally agree. Yeah, that was did not like that scene. The scene with Harley Quinn with the guy.
That whole thing, it was just a little long. It should have been a little shorter.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Oh, you want me to wrap it up?
I don't have anything to add. No.
Okay, you agree. So,
son of a gun.
No, I'm just kidding. I try to contain it. I try not to turn heel. But I think I turned ankle or something. You know, like I got a little bit, and that was dumb.
You and me both.
Cut that out.
You and me.
Yeah, we both kind of turned heel. Yeah. I think what I'll do is I'll do a little. Well, we'll talk about it after, but I think for me, it's like, here's the real truth of it is, I'm not saying this is a bad movie. You can just kind of tell from my criticism. This is why I almost didn't even want to say how I actually felt about it, because I feel like it's going to be something where people could get mad at and try to argue with me about. But the real point, like, it's kind of like we were saying, where I was kind of saying this stuff about, oh, there's a bunch of anticlimaxes. I'm not criticizing the film necessarily for that. It's just that if this was your sense of humor and you really liked it, like, if you liked the Deadpool movies, I imagine you would just love this movie, like, because it's really the same type of humor, and I'm just talking about the comedy at least. And to me, it's like I can appreciate it, but overall, the comedy didn't land with me overall very much. And since a bulk of the movie was that, I just felt like that's where I was missed. But also, I just feel like this movie, it's like, I just feel like this isn't, it's not my type of movie necessarily. And so I think that was where it's like, that's why it's like, I'm not trying to speak ill of the movie. I'm not trying to say it's a shitty movie. And I can appreciate all of the cool creative stuff about it. But it's just not, this movie just wasn't made for me. And I feel like I just didn't, it wasn't my cup of tea. I'll say that. It wasn't my cup of cookies.
Totally agree. Like, we're kind of on the same path or same wavelengths. And I watched it 6 days ago, and you watched it just a couple hours ago. But I can totally see where, for me, I think I'll like it better the second viewing because I already got my disappointment. I know what my disappointments are, and I can see if I can get them over them or not. And I already know what I like, and I know I already can think about, like, okay, you guys made good points on a lot of them too, so I'll give you guys credit on that. But yeah, overall, like I said, I don't like watching trailers in general. So I watched the first one, and I think I may have seen the second one. So I try to see as little, because they show way too much, obviously, because they have so many trailers now. And from what I saw even just the first one, from knowing I've seen the first one, I was just really disappointed. Like, overall, I think it is a really good film, like a good film. But that just the tone it set for me personally at the beginning kind of put me off edge throughout the film. So I think, like I said, a second viewing will probably be a lot more a better viewing for me. But like I said, first viewing, just disappointed. The action was great, acting was great, but man, it's hard. It's for me, like I said, I'm how the movie ends, and I don't even think the ending was that great. It wasn't bad though, but that beginning, like, just set me off the wrong path. Sterling, send us off home on a high note.
Well, for me, I didn't have very high expectations going into this movie, even after the trailers. But overall, I still really enjoyed it for what it was. And to me, what sets it apart from other DC movies is the creativity behind some of the editing and some of the direction. And a lot of the characters are fun to watch. They're not every joke lands, but when it does land, it landed very well for me. And I think I could definitely see myself putting this movie on pretty casually. And I think that's a testament to how much I enjoyed it. I think it's not for everyone. Obviously, don't take your kids to watch this. This is a very violent movie.
People are, though. Dumb parents are.
I get that, but
sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend it. But yeah, overall, it was decent. So, and maybe that's all I wanted. It was a decent movie, and that's what I got. That's all there is to it.
Damn, dude. Well,
man, we've been gone for a full minute, guys. My goodness. Woo. I mean, thanks for showing up. I mean, been gone for about what, month and a half?
Yeah.
So 6 weeks, and thank you for joining us. I mean,
yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the movie. I hope you enjoyed us, because we were rusty as hell. And
yeah. Well, I hope we got we started off with a big bang. I mean, this was almost Parasite level, heated. So anyway.
Oh yeah, we had some tense moments. So go back and watch that one, because and watch the movie Parasite, because other than don't listen to Matt. It's a really good movie. Just kidding, I'm kidding, Matt.
Why don't you just wrap the damn thing up? All right.
Hey, thanks for
wanna go
joining
to
us on the
bed.
Film Schmucks. Yeah, you go to bed, Sterling. Bye bye. Join us next time. The free guy is coming, baby. I cannot wait to be free in my own skin. Oh wait, that's a new thing nowadays. But thank you. Join us again next week. Thank you for joining us today. Like and subscribe. Comment. Nostalgia's real. Come back. We miss you. At ABIJ. Where are you at? Spell your name correctly first of all. But yeah, we'll see you next week. See ya.
Cut it.